É muito interessante o painel. É um tema que eu gosto muito quando a gente fala dessa falácia da riqueza ser soma zero. O Alexandre mesmo falou muito bem. A miséria, ela é a natureza do homem. Só a gente olhar pela história, a gente vai ver como a geração de riqueza focada no GDP ou no PIB, ela vem crescendo. Então, como pode-se... Já vi muitos políticos utilizando um queijo para mostrar como que a riqueza indo do outro, como se fosse algo limitado. E o indivíduo, ele é o agente principal de toda essa mudança, né? Como poder intelectual, ideal moral, a gente pode ver que o coletivismo, ele está morto. Ele é questionável. E, contudo, o individualismo e sua expressão política, o capitalismo, ainda não foram totalmente descobertos. Os homens, porém, eles ainda têm tempo para descobrir isso. Só a gente olhar ao nosso redor, analisar a história, a gente vai ver as realizações da mente do homem, o potencial ilimitado que temos para a grandeza. Para falar sobre individualismo, liberdade e felicidade, gostaria de chamar ao palco o Tal Tsfany, que é o presidente e CEO do AynRand Institute.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Still awake? Yeah? Good? Okay, I'm really excited about this presentation because hopefully I will answer some questions that some of you might have. And so I started with this. I really want you to pay attention. If you, by the way, don't understand English really well, I will wait a minute. You can go and get a translate. Don't be embarrassed by it. So, because I'm going to talk English and I'm going to talk fast. So if you don't follow, do yourself a favor, get a translation. So this is why I want you to listen, because I'm going to talk about the most important thing in the world, which is, what is the most important thing in the world? Freedom? No. Life of whom? Whose life? My life. And after, let's say you sustained your life, what comes after that? Your what? Happiness. I'm going to talk about your happiness. Okay, so that's, by the way, most people think about happiness, oh, I'm having so much fun. For me, this is more happy. Because I'll explain why. I think we don't have a real understanding of happiness. And I'll need your help. Because if I want this presentation to work, I need some participation, right? So if I ask you to participate, you participate, okay? That's the deal between us. Okay, so we talk about, I want to start with liberty. This is a conference about liberty, not just self-help, and I'll connect liberty to your happiness. To explain how, if you want to win the fight for freedom, you need to understand happiness. Because you have to offer a positive alternative to what other philosophies offer. And I don't think we have a good understanding of happiness, which is the ultimate reason why we need freedom. So we talk about liberty, we talk about freedom, we talk about happiness. What are all those things? Because we don't understand them really well, we're losing. We're losing. Let's face it. Look how many people are here. If I did a Marxist conference in, somewhere in Brazil, I'll get way more people. Why are we losing? And we're losing bad, by the way. I really like this. Like we're on the face losing. So let's admit it. Why? And Roberto picked up on this point. So I'll tell you a story. Okay, let's assume that you're living on an island. Call it small island called São Paulo. Okay? And you love your island. I mean, it's beautiful, it's great, your family's there, you have a great islander life. You love the beaches, you love the restaurants, you love the food, you love the culture. It's a great island to live on. And then suddenly, winds are starting to come and lashing the island from left and right, and you don't understand what's going on in your island. Things are changing in your island, and you don't understand why. You think that the winds that are lashing it from all directions are maybe political. You start hearing new terms that you don't know where they came from. Critical race theory? Where did that come from? Woke? People are waking up to what? And politically correct areas and cancel culture? Where did that come from? And people are going to the streets. It's not just ideas. They're actually acting on those ideas. And they're protesting, and there's brutality all over the place, and you don't know where it's coming from. And there's action and reaction, left and right. Everybody's getting more extreme, more violent. And it's coming to your street of the island. And you see things that you never believed you would see. I mean, your hero, defined as a slave owner. So you're sitting in your house, kind of, lost on what you're going to do and what can be done, really frustrated. And you have an urge to fight back. So this is why you can't come here, because you want to fight back, but you don't know who to fight and how. So you're sitting in your house in the afternoon, and you're like, yeah, I want a different Brazil. I just heard that. That was beautiful. I want to live in a different Brazil. You don't know where to start. And unfortunately, if you don't do anything, the island, as you know, it will disappear. It will disappear. It will turn into something else. So I don't want to leave you with this sad ending. I'm going to give you, hopefully, the answers on what each and every one of us can do. By the way, this whole presentation is built on an inspiration of an article that I really recommend called What Can One Do by Ayn Rand. If you read it, she gives you all the answers. So what do? I want to do a deep dive into the water of the island to understand what's really going on. Ayn Rand gives us the deep dive into what's really underneath what you call the undercurrents that are ruling what's happening in the island and are not seen. So here's how you should view your island. Your island actually looks like that. This is the island. Now, what you see on the top of the island is what is all the questions here are mainly political. You're interested in what's happening. Lula, Bolsonaro, who's going to win? What's going to happen? How much tax will it be in like 2 years from now? What's the GDP going to look like? This is what interests everyone. How did we get here? You need to understand that the things that are happening, and I think Roberto again said it, it's because what people are trying to do. They're trying to do what's good. Everyone is a good person, in the sense that they're trying to do the good, even if they're Hitler. What was Hitler trying to do? Good. What he defined as good. So what is the good is ethical, is ethics. If you don't understand what people are doing, ask them, what are you trying to achieve? And they'll tell you. Yeah, if everybody will be poor in Brazil, that is good. That's advisable. Because then we'll all be good. So no wonder they want to crush the economy. It's good. That's not enough. The left is not only winning on what is the good, and they've beat the right way long, because ask everybody. And the radical right and the radical left agree on what's the good. We are in a different dimension as people who are trying to advocate individual rights. We're on the other side. By the way, the left and the right are not left and right. They're all on the same side of collectivism. We're on the other side of individualism. That's it. That's the real axis. Collectivism, right and left. Individualism, and Ayn Rand is on the other side. And the founding fathers, as we heard, not all the way there, but way closer. So I think the left is not only winning that war, it's now going even deeper. It's 2 phases ahead of where the right is or what liberalism is. It's defining what's true. Try to tell me that I can't be a woman, and I'll cancel you. They're fighting an epistemological war on the redefining words and redefining truth and redefining that the reality out there is not the standard for truth anymore. It's what I believe, it's what I think, it's what I feel. Try to fight that. Try to give them Austrian economics where they don't believe that something is true. You lost. And they're teaching our kids to believe that there's no objective truth. There's nothing to be objective about. What you feel is what's true. You feel you're a woman? Great for you. We'll build you a special bathroom. I'm telling you, they're going all the way through. They will go all the way to metaphysics, which is at the core of philosophy, which is, are we here? Mark my words, in 10 years, you will hear things like, you're not really real, you're a hologram. I don't even talk to you because I don't know if you exist. That's the next step. So that's the fight. You're up there trying to fight the winds of politics, Lula, Bolsonaro, and the philosophers of the communist philosophers in the philosophy department are defining your future. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what can we do. So the first thing is freedom from what? What do we want to be free of? Freedom is a negative. I'm not free. Nobody gives me anything in freedom. Freedom is the only meaning of freedom is what they cannot do to me. Can we agree on that? It's what people cannot do to me. It's freedom of force, freedom of my freedom of speech. You cannot silence me. You cannot cheat me. I want to, if we're going to have contract, it's voluntary, right? You cannot lie to me because that's devoiding me from or detaching me from reality. If you tell me, oh, this is a piece of gold, take it, right? You're cheating me. That's a right. You cannot lie to me. You cannot impose or pretend to be somebody you're not are. Basically, if you want to understand individual rights, you need to understand that it's trying to keep the law of cause and effect. Try to explain to a 4-year-old what justice is. What is justice? Justice is you get what you deserve. If I want to buy this thing, so I pay someone $10 to get this, and they take my $10 and run away, they broke the cause and effect, right? So you break the cause and effect of reality. If I drop this, it will fall, right? That's cause and effect. The same on the conceptual level. If you break cause and effect, then you don't allow me to live as a human being. Okay, but the real question, let's assume that you're going out back to the street in a couple of hours, and Brazil is a libertarian heaven. All the rules are gone. No taxes, do whatever you want as long, individual rights, everything is great. What do? Your problem solved. We did an Ayn Rand conference once in Sao Paulo, everything solved. That's all you have to do. What do you do now? What are you going to do tomorrow? Live your life. Do what? Go somewhere else to fix? No, what do you do? It's, let's say, libertarian heaven. No taxes, nobody owes anyone anything. What do you do? Yeah. Go pursue something that makes you happy, right? So I think that the only way to sell freedom is to explain for what. What would you do with freedom? I believe that it's very easy for us as human beings to study the outside world, what is called extrospection, and it's very hard for us to learn what's on the inside, which is introspection. How much time did you guys invest in the last month thinking about how you think? Thinking about what you value. Kind of really writing it down, thinking, organizing, prioritizing what it is that you want out of life. I would bet 0.0001% of how much you've invested in, okay, I need to go do the groceries, take an Uber to work, what do I dress today, and so on and so forth, which is extrospection. It's hard to introspect, but introspection for me is a prerequisite for true happiness. And when I say happiness, I'll give you the standard very soon. So what is it? I'm going to do three things. I'm going to explain to you how it feels to me. I'm going to give you a definition by Ayn Rand that I really love. And the third thing, I will talk a little bit about how to go out and pursue it. So I told you, you better listen. I'm giving it all away, everything. Okay, how does it feel to be happy? Because nobody taught us in school what is the point of life. What does it mean to achieve happiness? So let me explain to you what I experience as a happy person. And I've invested the last 12 years of my life doing one thing: learning about it and practicing it. The first thing a happy person knows is himself. As Socrates says, know thyself. I don't know if I can explain in a short lecture what it means to know yourself. It means so many things. It means that I know how I react to the world. I know if you give me a race car, my hands start shaking for excitement. If you ask me to do my taxes, I can fall asleep immediately or want to run away. If you give me to work in a cubicle, I will fall asleep. If you put me on a stage, again, my hands will start shaking. You know, and for some people, it's the opposite. I know myself. I know how I react. I know the nature of this thing called Tal that you cannot see and I cannot see. I can only see how Tal reacts to things in life. And we'll talk about it. I know what I want. I think about it all the time. I make lists on a weekly basis of the thing that I want. If you don't have a list of all the things you want, it's like you're running a company without strategy. You will fail because you don't know exactly what you want. I know how to get the things I want. I became really good in practicing and going out. Put your money where your mouth is. I put my money there all the time. I quit my job. I moved away from my country. I speak a different language. I deserted all of the things they told me to believe in. I created myself. I'm not Israeli. When I was born, I don't speak Hebrew anymore, because most of the day is in English. I believe the opposite of what my grandmother told me to believe in. And all of it, I can summarize in one sentence that I tell myself as a happy person. I know how to live. I figured it out. It means knowing who I am, understanding the world, and making those two things work together. Another thing is that you can think about it, I have no regrets. I don't know if you know Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, did something amazing. He said, every time you want to make a decision, take the path of least regret, which means put yourself in the future and look back. What would you regret more? Doing something and trying and maybe failing, or not trying at all? So to take the new job with maybe less pay because I'm excited about it, or stay where I am? I don't know, I'm stuck. All you have to do, go to the future, look back. What would you regret most? Not trying or trying and failing? 99% of the time you'll see that try. Fail, it's fine. It's better than not doing. I am thinking about the life I'm leading right now as an 85-year-old, 90-year-old. I have no regrets. I would do the same exact thing. I want and I wish for you to ask yourself a question. I'm 90 years old now. I'm looking at myself where I am today. Would I do something different? I would bet that most of your answer should be now, yes, I would do something different. I will change something I'm doing that I don't like. I will get out of a relationship. I will move to another place. I will try the things I always wanted to do. I will practice more of the things I love. I will take the hobby I always postponed, right? Reconnect with people and so on. Whatever it is that you're not doing. Happiness is a climate. I'm a happy person. I might feel a little better one day because something good happened or worse, but that's a weather. My climate is great. I want you to think about it. It's a prolonged state of consciousness that I call happiness. So I'm going to give you a definition. And that's the Ayn Rand definition. And it's so rich. It's so short, but it's so rich. By the way, before I do that, I'll tell you something Aristotle said. Okay? He said that happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. He says something very, very simple. Whenever you open your eyes in the morning, the only thing you should care about is your happiness. What does it mean? And it includes other people, because other people are part of my happiness. We'll talk about what a value is. Rand's definition goes like this. She says, happiness is that state of consciousness which proceeds from the achievement of one's values. Let me break it down for you. I'm an engineer. I like to break things down. And I actually read this in reverse. She says something very simple. She says, you need to know what you value. You need to find the things that you find meaning in. Nobody in the world can tell you what is meaningful to you. There's no another Tal in any dimension. You know, there's a famous scene in The Fountainhead. If you didn't read The Fountainhead, I really recommend it, where Peter Keating is an architect, but he's kind of second-handed. He doesn't really know who he is. And he's talking to Howard Rourke, the protagonist of that story, who's a self-made man, first-hander, sure of himself. And Peter is contemplating two options, to go or to one job or another apprenticeship and internship. So he's asking Howard, what do you think I should do? Go for A or B? And Howard looks at him and says, you've already made a mistake by asking me. Because if you don't know internally what you want, how can anyone tell you? And I'll give you this. If you don't introspect enough, there's no way for you to really know. So this is the hardest part. Knowing what you want is the hardest thing. It's like figuring out a strategy for a company. The tactics later is easier. They pay the CEOs more because they do strategy. And they pay the workers less because they do tactics. This is the strategy of your happiness. What do I want? And I know that I want. Not somebody else told me to want it. I choose it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Once you figure out what you want in the different aspects of life, do you know how to get it? Do you have the character to go out in an uncompromising way and get what you said you want? You know, all of us do it. Like, one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to write a book, one day I'm going to... And we don't. Do you have what it takes to go out and get it? If you, again, want some inspiration, read The Fountainhead. When I finished The Fountainhead, I quit my job. I was a VP in a 22,000 people company. I was making tons of money. I left everything a day after. And I never looked back. If you asked me to go back to 12 years ago when I was a VP in I would not take it for any money in the world. The result of you knowing what you want and getting it will be a state of consciousness that we call happiness. You will feel the way I described how I feel about myself. You will have the character, the self-esteem. You will love better. People will love you more. The world will open up with opportunities. Everything will be more optimistic because you're focusing on the most important thing in life, which is you. It's not who's going to win the election. Who cares? Who cares? It's not going to destroy your life. Now, if your passion is politics, yeah, you should care. But if you're not a professional politician, who cares? Go live your life. Maybe, if you care about, the political, go fight. But it needs to be from the question of, is it what you want? Not because you owe it to Brazil. So what am I saying? I'm saying that happiness is an achievement. Nobody can give it to you. You need to create it. You cannot make your kids happy. The best parental advice I can give you is teach them how to make themselves happy. You know what? Don't leave them money. It's the hardest thing I know to tell to parents. The best thing you can do to your son or your daughter to say, I'm not leaving you any money. You know what it'll do to them? Happiness is about values. What you think is important. You love this guy, I love him too. But think about what he chose to do in life, to hit balls. He hit balls all day. It's very boring if you think about it, but he loves it. That's his value. You cannot argue with him. That's what he found as meaningful. This is why he became the best in the world. And I took a Brazilian, he's my hero. It's a state of consciousness. It's an internal thing. You give it to yourself, and nobody else can give it to you. So let's go and break down this formula of how do I know what I want, how do I achieve it, how do I become happy. So the first thing you should ask yourself, okay, Rand is saying that the achievement of happiness is the achievement of values. What is a value? Because value is a very confusing word. She defines it as anything you want, either to sustain, like my life, which is the standard of value. If I'm dead, the world is dead. By the way, she answered a really nice question. Like, aren't you afraid of being dead? She said, no, because I will never be dead. Think about it. You'll never be dead. It won't be you. So she says, value is that which one acts to gain or keep. Now, here's the thing. You have to want it, and you have to act. Sitting in your sofa, dreaming about the company you're going to build or the new book you're going to write, doesn't give you any happiness. It's the action towards your values that give you that. It can be something you already have and you want to sustain, like my heart is keeping me living right now, and being here, talking to people like you, hoping that I'll inspire you, and knowing and going to sleep tonight knowing that I inspired people to live a better life, that's what does it to me. That's my value, and it can be anything. It could be the car you want, it could be the spouse you want, it could be whatever you want. It could be a thing, it can be a skill. So I created this thing, Happiness Team, which is my way of sharing this knowledge, and I created like a process. It came to me when I was sitting down to write my nonfiction book about happiness, what I've done in the last 12 years of being a normal, wake up in the morning, go to work, have a nice life, marry a great girl, have kids with her, and do some fun in the weekends, to a person who won't change his life with anyone. I don't want my life changed in any way with anyone. It doesn't matter how much money or... And by the way, if you'll come and offer me to open a company, I will say, no, that's not what I want to do. Okay? Because by the way, another good way to know if you're internally driven is, are you looking for opportunities in the outside? Because if you are, it's not coming from the inside. You need to know what opportunities to create for yourself, not whatever comes your way. Who's going to offer me a job? So I realized after writing the outline of my book that there is a process here, and I call it self-observation, like a scientist, then analyzing the self-observation, then committing to what I want, and then pursuing and monitoring how I react to the pursuit. So let me do that in a more simplified way. I created 8 questions. The first question is, who am I? We'll answer that. The second question is, what do I love? The third question is, what do I want? The fourth one is, what do I want now? The fifth question is, how do I get it? The sixth one is, what's stopping me? The seventh one, when I start going, is, how is it going? Am I enjoying the pursuit? And after I get it, what's the point? Do you know how to celebrate happiness? Do you know how to feel happy? So here's the first opportunity. I need someone brave enough and has decent English to come to the stage for 1 minute. Hands up. Okay, I got a brave volunteer. Oop. Okay, what's your name?
Lucas Voltolini.
What?
Lucas.
Lucas. Okay, so this is Lucas, okay? And I'm going to give him 1 minute. Ready? 1 minute. I'm going to stopwatch you. So we'll see that you're really doing it in a minute. And here's what you need to do. You need to tell me in 1 minute who you are. You're going to present to everyone in 1 minute who you are so they know you by the end of the minute. Go.
In English?
In English, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, in English. I need to understand.
I'm Lucas. Most people know me as Voltolini, which is my last name. I'm an undergraduate in mathematics in 2018. I've been from the countryside in Brazil, from the sound state of Santa Catarina. I'm currently getting a master's degree in economics. I'm studying finance. And actually, contrary to most things that have been presented, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. I still haven't decided about anything. I have had, so far, 5 or 6 jobs in different areas. I've been a salesman, I've worked as a programmer, I worked as a teacher, as a mathematician, as a developer in mathematics, and I've been an IT technician as well. I've worked as many different things, and I enjoy all of them.
Okay, that's your minute.
I'm sorry.
Who thinks he knows Łukasz or Lukasz? Lukasz, with an L. Who thinks they know Lukasz now? Anyone? Raise their hand. No Lukasz? Okay, I'm going to take another minute. Okay? So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Okay. What do you love most? Like the thing you love most in life?
Pasta.
What?
Pasta.
What is that?
Pasta. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Okay. What else? What do you love doing?
My girlfriend.
Before spaghetti, come on. This is your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. What do you love about her?
I'm sorry?
What do you love about her?
Oh, everything.
No, be specific.
Oh.
It's one thing that you love about her, like a quality that attracts you to her.
I cannot say one thing, but I can say I like when you talk. We talk a lot. And
about what? What did she give you?
A lot of things, politics and...
She understands politics?
She understands
You share values in politics? Like
yes.
Liberalism?
Yes.
Is where you're coming from? Is she intelligent?
A lot.
Very intelligent?
Yes,
okay.
very intelligent.
Okay. What do you love doing in your spare time?
In my spare I enjoy playing games.
Games?
And Europa Universalis and chess. I love chess.
You love chess? What's good about chess?
Chess, I love chess because it's very predictable, but you feel happy when you think outside the box and solve a problem that's very hard to solve.
Are there any other areas where you feel like you're solving problems?
Mathematics.
Mathematics. Yes. This is why you love mathematics?
Yes.
Okay. This is why you went to...
I actually went to the Mathematics Olympiad in Brazil. And
I see. As a kid, what did you love doing?
Solving problems, actually. I've been an IT technician for about 8 or 9 years.
You love computers?
I love solve hard problems in a very simple way.
Okay, so simplifying problems.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I took about a minute. Do you know him a little bit more? Why? What did I ask him about? What he loves. Okay. Do you think that if I'll sorry for the if I'll open this thing, would I see Lukasz? Is there a Lukasz to see somewhere? Where is he? We see the outside, but there's something. By the way, nobody knows. We can't understand consciousness yet. We can talk about it in an hour. Consciousness is an unknown, ununderstood phenomenon. It breaks all rules of physics. This is why physicists don't believe in free will, because it breaks their rules. But it's just that we don't know. The same as we don't understand quantum mechanics the same way, right? We can't even understand electricity, by the way. What's happening here is consciousness. We don't understand it, but we see it. Do you know who you are? Can you, for a minute, say, this is who I am? There is a Lukasz. Here he is. Mind and body. But the only way to know a person is to see them react to values in life. He chose, what's the name of your girlfriend?
Thailise.
Okay. Very hard for me, though. You chose her.
Yes.
Nobody else chose her. So I can see what you're reacting to, right? That defines a little bit of him. And what thank you very much. Give him a round of applause, by the way. What I'm trying to say is very powerful. The only way to know yourself and to know other people is to really pay attention to what we react to. I'm a guy that loves abstract ideas, and I love managing people. I love race cars, and I love to really optimize the things I'm working on. I love plays. I can cry in movies. I stood in front of the statue of David in Florence and was shocked for an hour. I love wisdom. I can go on forever. If you gave me a minute, I will bombard you with all my values, what I call my value galaxy. And after a minute, it's like, we really know him. We understand. So values are the things that define you. There's no other way to experience yourself other than you reacting to what you find meaning in. So who am I? The answer to that question is what I love. Now, let's talk about what you love. Can you open your phones for a second? Everybody take your phone out. I'm going to give you a minute or two to make a list. And I want you to not think for a second. Just write whatever comes to your mind. I don't care if it's true, not hierarchical, whatever comes to your mind. I want you to make a list of the following things. The first, for 30 seconds or so, I want you to write all the things you love doing. Work, the kind of work you like to do. Play, the things you like to learn. Hobbies, fun activities, all kinds of experiences. All the things that have to do with action. Go, 30 seconds. Think about the things that give you energy, excitement, anticipation. You can be descriptive. You can say, solve problems, complex problems with simple answers. Okay, for anyone who's finished. By the way, if you're not finished, continue. We'll do that as a rolling thing. The second thing, write the names of the people or the types of people. Maybe it's someone who you've never met. I like Roger Federer. The different types of people and the different types of relationships. The people that you love as, romantic love, and why. Your friendships, your family, if you love them, you don't have to. And maybe professional or people that you know that really inspire you. All kinds of relationships to other people. What type of people are you attracted to? And why? By the way, it could be physical. I really don't think less of physical attraction than just intellectual attraction. Be specific, by the way. Don't be too abstract. So give me for everything you say, I love intelligent people. Okay, give me a name of intelligent people you find attractive. Okay, let's continue the list. Name all the places you love being in and why. So say, I love my bedroom because, I love my office because, I was in Trancoso, by the way, beautiful place. I love Trancoso because I like going to vacationing in a specific place because I love my quiet, room because. Even if it's trips or hikes that you do, like why do you like those places? You don't have a phone. You do. Right? Okay. Okay, let's continue. And the things, the material things that you love, the things you own or you would like to own, okay? Property, your food, pasta, like you said, tools, technology, gadgets, whatever it is that you want as a material thing, write it down. I love my fountain pen. I love my pet. Actually, pet is a relationship, sorry. I love the chair I sit in my office. I love the Ferrari I never owned yet. I love the bigger house that I'm dreaming about. But give me a quick reason why. So continue as I talk. Please don't stop. I will continue to talk. But I want you to invest time. We're now creating the version 1 of a rolling list that you'll have to maintain on a weekly basis if you really want to be happy. So basically, anything that excites you and gives you meaning and gives you a sense of excitement, energy, and fun is what needs to be on that list. Everything that your soul responds to. You feel like a vibration, anticipation to meet someone, after a good meal with someone, and so on. This is version 1 of what I called my value galaxy. This is just, again, one of my versions. I actually like to visualize it. So in my office, there's a huge whiteboard, and I got 2 things on it. One of them is my value galaxy. It's a visual representation of all the things I love, and if you see the yellow circles, I go deeper into understanding what is the common denominator of values in the same realm. Okay, so wow, I noticed that I love doing things that are, for instance, sports. The only thing I love about sports is individualistic, competitive sports. You give me soccer or football or whatever you want, basketball, I couldn't care less. Why? Because it's 5 people trying to work together. Give me tennis, Formula 1, I get excited. Okay? So no wonder that I love, race cars and poker, right? And tennis, because it's one person. It's what I like. And maybe you love NBA, I don't know. Good for you. So I go not only to my values, but my common denominators, what I call the value themes. And if you do my workshop, we'll talk more about it. So it's the value theme. By the way, everything that I say, you can download the whole workbook for free that has all of those exercises one after the other. So I'll give you a link at the end. Okay, so let's say, and now in your phones you have a list of version 1 of what I value. This is just the beginning. Believe me, it will take you months, if not years, to fine-tune it to the point where like, wow, I know what I need to do next. You need to chew on it over and over again. So let's talk about what do I want. I want you to take the list that you've made, and I want you to categorize it to 4 categories. So I don't know how you do it. Maybe you create 4, maybe you have a paper and pen, you can do that, but 4 types of things. I want you to write, and maybe just choose the 1, 2, 3 top ones in each category. First is what you love doing from a productive perspective. What do you love creating? And by the way, don't give me necessarily what you're doing right now. Close your eyes and think deeply what you would do if money was not a constraint, if time was not a constraint. Breathe deeply and write truly what you'd love to do with your productive energy. So maybe 1 or 2 things in that category. The second one, relationships. What is the relationship you value most and why? Or what is the relationship you don't have and you would love to have? So it doesn't matter if you have it, or remember, gain or keep. So you can have it or try to achieve it. So in relationships, what are the most important things in your life right now or that you want in your life? The third category, everything that has to do with health, rejuvenation, fun, art, all the energy that usually is in the afternoon, in the weekends, right? That's a different type of time that we're spending. And the fourth one I won't talk about, but there's a reason why I separated out wealth creation from career. People are for some reason think that what you do from a productive perspective has to sustain you financially. There are 10 different ways to support your life other than just make money by someone paying you a salary. We can talk about it again for hours. I liberated myself from money by just making enough investment that give me passive income, so I don't have to worry about money anymore. Now, how do you do that? It's a whole strategy, but if you love to do something that you cannot make money from, it's still something you can pursue. We'll talk about it. It's a radical concept, I know, but this is why a 4th dimension. So go ahead and write the number 1 and number 2 things you love doing from a productive perspective, career, forget about wealth, I just need 3, relationships, I don't know, maybe you're lacking a romantic relationship, or you lack a very good friend that you have or want to have. Maybe it's a family relationship that you want to fix or you want to improve. Maybe it's a professional relationship, having a mentor, someone to connect to, right? By the way, I found out that if I adore someone, I just reach out to them. I'll give you two stories. One is the best drummer in the world, I'm a drummer, is a guy named Dave from California. He played with Chick Corea. He's my idol. I mean, I've been listening to him since I was 15, and he was like this god drummer. I wrote him an email, and I said, Dave, how can I meet you? And he said, oh, come to one of my workshops. I said, where is it? He says, in Chicago next week. Where was I in the same time? Chicago. I met him for a whole day. There's a musician I adore. He's unbelievable. I heard his album, I wanted to cry. I reached out to him and said, how can I meet you? And he said, let's have dinner. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. If you know what you want, go out and get it. So this is why it's so powerful. Because once you clarify yourself, this is what I want, it's much easier to get. The strategy is hard. The tactics is easy. Okay, so take a minute to write the most important thing you would like for yourself in career, relationship, and health and rejuvenation. And it's okay, by the way, not to know. It just means that you have a little bit more thinking to do. Okay, so I'm giving you, this is really fast. We do that for hours and hours in the workshop, so I know that I'm rushing you. But I hope that it gives you a spark of thinking of, wow, I really need to think about it more. I'm not 100% clear, because if I was 100% clear like a Steve Jobs, I would know how to go out and get it. So the next question is, what do I want now? Now, here I'm going to rush forward, and we're not going to do exercises, because all of it is based on you knowing what you love. What I have people do is to say, let's get serious. Let's get serious. If you say you want something most in the world, I want to see if you have the character to go out and get it, get out of your chair on your sofa, and go out and get it. Because time is running out. You're going to die someday, unfortunately. One of the hardest exercises I do in that workshop is I ask you to tell me when you're going to die. Can you think about the year you're going to die? Think about it. Just give yourself a number. You want to live to 90, 91? Do the math. Take your birthday, add 90. That's the year you're going to die. And it's coming. So the idea is to have a sense of urgency that the only limited resource in the world is not money, it's time. And every day that goes by that you don't really go out and achieve what you really want that will make you respond, you're wasting the only thing you have. So don't worry about what the neighbors will say, or what will mom will say, or what will they think about you, or if you fail. Happy people do not optimize for success. They optimize for the experience. I will give you one idea at the end, called it turning pro, which means you want to be a professional in living, not an amateur. Most of us are living an amateur life. So what you want now is, the question is, are you willing to tell me? And this is why I called it the happiness team, because I want an accountability team getting you to commit to all of us that by next month or by next week or whatever, you're going to do something. That it's hard, it's frightening, you are anxious about it, but you're going to do it anyway. Or try to do it, fail, fine. But do not say you're going to do something and not do it. Because then we know you're cheating yourself. So we choose this thing and we call it your spotlight value. We pick one thing from your value map, right? We saw the value map or the value galaxy. We say, that's what I want most. Now you hold it, and now we're going to take that thing and put a different hat. a hat of a tactician, someone who's now moving from strategy to execution. We all agree, this is what you want, right? It's the new romance, it's the new job that you want to do, shift something, right, in your life, own something. We're going to hold that, and that is what we call the spotlight value. And why do I say spotlight? Because this machine can only focus on very little amount of things, right? If I start shooting numbers at you, at about the 6th number, you'll get confused. You cannot hold too much. Ayn Rand called it the crow epistemology. It's the limited number of things you can focus on in your life. So this is what I'm putting my spotlight on. This is what I'm committing to. I'm going to write it big on my wall, on my calendar, wherever, on the refrigerator. And that's what I'm doing. Most of my energy goes to that. We don't know how to focus. Actually, the culture tells us, do not focus. Go browse around, take up your phone, write something, call your friend, call your mom, go do this, go do the shopping. It's like, you know how focused people work? I wish that I could show you a clip where Johnny Ive, the chief designer of Apple, talks about Steve Jobs and what it meant to him to be focused. He said, we're not talking about anything today other than the thing we said we're going to do. I don't want to hear anyone talking about anything, not their kids, not their wives, not anything. We're now meeting, and for the next 8 hours, we're talking about one thing. Every day. He says, you can achieve so much, so fast, if you really focus. We don't know how to focus. So this makes you focus. You said you want to do this, let's start going. And we do a lot of planning. I ask you things like, why do it now? Do you have all the resources you need? And that's the thing, the obstacles. I want you to tell me what walls are you going to hit on the way? Emotional, external, money, issues, whatever you know you're going to get stuck with, we're going to do planning. Because when you're going to hit the wall, it's going to be much easier if you planned for that wall, even if it's emotional. So we're going to be very rigorous planning your pursuit. So here's how it felt. I won't read it to you, but this is how I planned building the thing called the happiness team. Now I want to talk about, this is where I am going to stop, and I'm going to tell you a secret that Ayn Rand shared with me, called What's Stopping You? What's stopping you are your emotions. Now here is the truth about emotions. Here's how it works, and I'm going to read you a couple of quotes. They're not easy, but try to follow me, and then I'll try to simplify it. She says, just as the pleasure-pain mechanism of man's body is an automatic indicator of his body's welfare or injury, a barometer of its basic alternative, life or death. Let me stop here for a second. She says, if I pinch you really hard, are you going to like it? Why? Yeah, hurts. Why? Why is the body not liking pinching? It's destroying what? You, your life. It's killing cells. It's going against your life. The body has a morality. If you are caressing it, you make it feel good, it sends you waves of pleasure. If you're going to hurt it, it's going to, and the standard is your life. So she says the same mechanism, which is your pleasure-pain, and I'll continue, so the emotional mechanism of man's consciousness is geared to perform the same function as a barometer that registers the same alternative by means of two basic emotions, joy or suffering. She says it's the same in pinching. If your mind thinks that something is good for you, you're going to have a joyful emotion. There's a range of emotions, right? If you think something endangers you, threatens you, you're going to feel some kind of a suffering emotion. Same as body. Emotions are the automatic results of men's value judgment. She says there is a reason why you're getting an emotion. It's a value judgment behind it. Value judgment integrated by subconscious. Emotions are estimates of which furthers man's values or threatens them. That which is for him or against him. Lightning calculators giving him the sum of his profit and loss. If I say, you're ugly, what does that mean? I just say, like, who's this person? He's stupid. I'll just feel nothing. Or like, I'm so offended. it really depends on how you take it, right? So let me break it down as a process. Somebody, let's say, says something to you. It goes to your subconscious, and in lightning fast speed, you do good or bad. The same as if I pinch you, there's going to be a millisecond for your body to like good or bad, right? So you immediately, by your subconscious, say, this is bad for me. For instance, a thought, maybe somebody suggests, maybe you should leave your job. And you say, what does it mean? No salary, going out to the market, what will I do? So good or bad is your subconscious defines for you. Your conscious mind actually has nothing to do with it. It immediately evokes an emotion that you feel in your conscious mind. Here are all the bad ways to think about emotions. First, suppress them, ignore them. Yeah, I feel anxious, but I'm going to ignore it. We men are really good at suppressing. I'm going to suck it in. Ignore the emotion. The fact that I feel that I'm not fulfilled in my job, it'll pass. In a year or two, I'll get used to it. You won't. So one is ignoring emotions. As my good friend Gina Gorlin says, ignoring emotions or suppressing emotions is like tampering with evidence. It's like ignoring evidence of a murder trial. It's like let's ignore the smoking gun. It's a smoking gun. It tells you something. There's a flag saying, hey, pay attention. And you're like, no, it's not important. So that is one problem. Another problem is like, oh, I'm going to feel so anxious now, and I'm just going to be wallowing in my anxiousness or fear or maybe hurt. That means that I'm ignoring the value judgment, and I'm just living by emotion. This is like living like an animal. My dog is an emotionalistic creature. He doesn't think. He just emotes. So there's a difference between him being emotional. I'm a very emotional person, but I'm not emotionalistic. By that, I don't lead with emotion. I experience the emotions. What I focus on is understanding both my emotion and the cause for the emotion. And I'll give you the best tool in the world to solve any mystery about why you're feeling something about something. I think that introspection and self-knowledge and understanding your emotion is the critical happiness skill. So let me give you, by an example, the 7 questions I asked myself to unleash the power of seeing my subconscious doing the value judgment and why am I experiencing an emotion. So here's what happened. The first question in that sheet is, what is happening? And by what is happening, I'm saying, give me the facts, ma'am. I don't want any value judgment. Just give me what happened in reality. So I answered. It was August 18, 2021. Shiri, my daughter, she was 19 at the time, left back to Israel. She teared up. I did too. And I felt bad after she left. Clear what happened? We hugged. We both felt emotional. I felt really bad. I'm assuming she felt, but I didn't write it down because I don't know if it's true. Just the facts. Second question, what do I feel? And in that workbook that you can download, there are 2 things at the back, a list of all human emotions and a list of all human needs. It's really a good dictionary for you to say, what am I really feeling? So I chose that I feel frustrated and maybe even helpless. That's it. Here I am, introspecting on a Friday, feeling frustrated and helpless. Third question, why do I feel it? What is the cause? What is the need at stake? Because at the bottom of every emotion is a need. I need something and I'm either getting it or not getting it. So here's what I wrote. I still don't accept the reason why I feel helpless and frustrated. I still don't accept her decision to join the Israeli army. I think it's a mistake. I want her to be happy, and I don't think she's taking a path that is right for her. That is the reason why I feel frustrated and helpless. Clear? Fourth question. What is the thought or value judgment behind the feeling? Why am I feeling frustrated because she's going to the Israeli army? And now it's time to get serious. The thought is that I know what's good for her. My advice is the right one for her. I want to direct her and have impact on her journey. I don't like when she doesn't listen to my advice. I told her, going to the Israeli army, come on, I'll send you to the Silicon Valley. You can have any job you want, and you choose to go to this third world country in the middle of the conflict of, it's risky, and you won't learn anything. The thought is, I know what's good for her. Fifth question, is it true? Is it objective? Is it rational to think this way? What is the answer? No. I don't know what's good for her. I think I know her, but she knows herself much better. I'm 50, she's 19. I can't project my life, my values, my experience on her. She needs to pave her own path. I can't make her happy. Only she can. I need to do the opposite. Encourage her to make her own decisions and be supportive. I should voice my opinion if she asks for it. Sixth question. What should I do next? Text her that I love her and that I'm there for her. I get emotional just reading this. Hold back on judgmental comments. Initiate conversation with her and not let the relationship deteriorate because it already started deteriorating. What did I learn about this? I really need to learn to respect the sovereignty of other people over their own lives, including my children, especially the people close to me. So see what happened. I could have walked out of that and saying, oh, Shiri, come on, Shiri. You do that every time. And then it could sink and I can go with that feeling for a year, years. I could have destroyed the relationship with my daughter for years to come. We wouldn't have talked, by the way, because I was angry with her. Or I could spend 20 minutes in my study doing this, where the whole world suddenly opens. It's like somebody opened my brain and I can see my brain in action. Value judgment of my subconscious telling me you're wrong. Now, here's the thing about if I pinch you and it hurts, it's good. It's good that it hurts. By the way, even that is not 100% right, because if you're in the dentist and it hurts, it's good for you. So suck it up. But on an emotional level, we can go wrong so easily, and we don't even know it. So if you want to validate, if your emotion is rational and objective, go do this exercise. This is what it means to be rationally emotional and not emotionalistic. This is how clear I want you to be on your emotional reaction. Be emotional, cry, jump for joy, good for you. I cry in movies all the time. But I want you to be rational about this, to know why it's happening. I know why I cry in a movie. I love the story. The last thing I want to share with you is, what is the point? Why do all of this? And here I want to get to the point of what it means. I don't know. This face looks happy, but I'll go back to this. So there's a good book I recommend. It's very short. It's called Turning Pro. And what it says is, like, look, you can live two lives. One is a life of a professional, and one is a life of an amateur. Most people around you are amateurs. An amateur life is predictable, easy, very organized, and you don't have to make too much effort. You, of course, have to go to university, learn something, make some money, do what everybody else does. That's the life of an amateur. A life of a professional, think about Roger Federer, it means that it's risky, messy, hard, unpredictable, taxing, and it's ups and downs emotionally because you want big things for yourself, so it's super hard. Why would anyone want a professional life? So he says in the book, you don't have to live in a professional life. Go live your life as an amateur. Do what everybody else does. Great for you. But there's one price to pay. And I love this analogy. He calls it, you're going to live in a shadow. Here's what it means. Your subconscious knows who you are. You know what you love. You know what makes your heart sing. You know that. You can't lie. and you know what's possible for you, even though you can't see it right now, you can project what is possible for you. And if you're not acting on it, you're living in that shadow of what you could be, who you could love, what you can achieve. And the question is, do you want to walk out to the light and be exposed? Take risks, fail. There's no success without failure. Failure is necessary to learn. By the way, if you took the failure, success would not be even fun. Let's say you wanted something. Oh, I want a very successful software company that sells $1 million a month. Here you go. Take it. Fun? No, I want the struggle. For every story you've ever heard, every movie you ever saw, there were three things. Somebody wanted something, it was really hard to get, they got it or a version of it. That's the human story. That's the hero's journey. So are you going to be a hero? Are you going to live a professional life? So if there's something I want you to take, is a little bit of, maybe I kicked your butt a little bit today, to go and think, what do I really want? Can I close my eyes and imagine a world as concrete as possible of what my life could look like? Who could I love and be with? What can I do that I will really make me proud? What relationships do I want? Where do I want to live? Around what people? Right? Where do I want to have a vacation? What kind of hobbies and relaxation I want for myself? It's all possible. Now, it's true. If Brazil becomes a totalitarian country, we might not be able to do it, but you still have freedom. So, and the best way to convince someone that freedom is good is to explain to them what they can achieve if they're left free to do that. By the way, let me connect it back to freedom. There is no way for anyone to know how to make you happy. This is why nobody can tell you what to do. This is the reason why we need freedom. So we can pursue our own happiness, because our own happiness is the only type of happiness that will ever exist that is us. And this is what the founding fathers understood. So if you want to download this whole workbook for free, it's like 80 pages. It's great. You can read. You can do it yourself. You can apply to one of the happiness teams. We do that every couple of months. Go to myhappiness.team and download the workbook for free. And if you have other questions, my email, I didn't write it down. It's very easy. It's Tal, T-A-L, @AynRand.org. You can ask me follow-up questions. I love doing this, by the way. You can see that I'm passionate about it. And just to close, I wish for you to live a life that is on a daily basis the best you can be and the hero you can be. And if you want some inspiration, go read some Ayn Rand novels. Every time I want some inspiration and to remind myself what it means to be happy, I go read a little bit about John Galt or Dagny or Howard Rourke and the heroes there. So thank you very much. And if you want to ask me a question, please do. Thank you.